Hello, welcome to the Bronze Award webinar. My name is Miriam and I'm a Girl Experience Manager with Girl Scouts of Northeastern New York. It's wonderful that you're planning to earn your Bronze Award, the highest award for Girl Scout juniors, and look forward to telling you more about the process and how to get started. First, let's look at some of the benefits of earning your Bronze Award. As you plan and carry out your project, you'll have the opportunity to grow as a leader and work together to accomplish your project goals. You'll have a chance to make a difference in your community and take action to address an issue that's important to you. Your Bronze Award project is a wonderful opportunity to try something new or learn a new skill. You might have other reasons why you want to earn your Bronze Award as well. Next, let's talk about the steps you'll take to earn your Bronze Award, and after that, we'll look at each step in more detail. First, you want to make sure that you've completed a junior journey, including the Take Action project, as a prerequisite to starting your Bronze Award. Your junior journey gives you the chance to practice planning and completing a project within the structure of the journey, so you have some experience with project planning before you start your Bronze Award project. Once you've completed your junior journey, your next step is to build the team you plan to work with, which could be other juniors in your troop, friends, or family members. After that, you and your team will explore your community to look for some of the needs or areas where you could make a difference, as well as community resources that could be helpful to you as you plan and implement your project. Once you've explored your community, it's time to narrow down your ideas and choose your Bronze Award project, then make a plan to carry it out, put your plan into action, and complete your project. And after that, you'll celebrate your accomplishment and let others know about what you did and why it's important, as well as completing your Bronze Award final report. Now that we have an overview of the process, let's look at each step in more detail. Before starting your Bronze Award project, make sure that your Girl Scout membership is renewed for the current year and that you're a Girl Scout junior in 4th or 5th grade. If you have cadets in your troop, they have a different highest award to work on and would be planning their Silver Award project, which has different requirements from the Bronze Award. Finally, make sure that you've completed one of the junior journeys, including the Take Action project. It's up to you and your troop which journey you choose to complete, and as you work on your journey, keep track of some of the resources you find to help you and the experts you talk with, because they could be helpful when planning your Bronze Award project as well. After completing your junior journey, decide who you'll be working with for your Bronze Award project. It's a team project, and your team could be others in your troop, friends, or family members. Often, a troop will all work together on a Bronze Award project, but you can also split up into smaller groups if you have different project interests. As you build your team, consider the strengths that each team member brings to the project and how your team can use those strengths to create a more impactful project. Maybe some of your teammates love art and design, and they could design a brochure to raise awareness about the issue that your project addresses. Or you have a team member who makes videos who could work on editing a video about what you did for your project. As you plan and work towards your Bronze Award, you may have opportunities to practice leadership skills like showing respect for different ideas and ways of working, conflict resolution if there's some difference of opinion about the direction your project should take, accepting feedback and constructive criticism, like maybe when you share your idea, you get some suggestions from community experts about what might work better. Definitely take ownership of your responsibilities because your team is counting on you, and don't forget to say thank you and show appreciation for everyone who helps you along the way. As you're building your team, take some time to explore your community to look for needs and where you can make a difference, things that align with your interests, as well as resources that could be helpful to your project. Maybe you love animals and want to help homeless pets. Your local animal shelter could be a great resource, along with any nearby animal hospitals or veterinarians' offices. Keep in mind that a community can be any group of people that have something in common, not just your immediate neighborhood or town, although those are communities as well. Your school is a community, and your soccer team's a community, as well as the Girl Scout community. So take some time to think about all the different communities you're a part of and what might help to make life better for people in that community. Do you wish that your school had better indoor recess options? That could become your Bronze Award project. A good way to explore your community is to make a community map. You can either go on a field trip to physically explore or create your map from memory. You can draw your map if you like, or you can just make a list of community places. You might include places like your school, the library, the park, a nature center or hiking trail, a playground, any other important community places you can think of. Once you have a map or list of community places, take some time to write down or mark some of the needs that exist in each of these places, as well as some of the resources that these places provide, and keep in mind that you can always add to your community map as you think of more ideas as well. Go ahead and pause the webinar and start brainstorming some ideas, either with your team or on your own. You can work on making a community map or list, or just write down your thoughts about some of the needs that you see in the community, your interests and how they might align with those needs, and some ideas about community experts or organizations that you could work with for your project. One way to organize your ideas is to make a chart. In the first column, you can put the needs that you notice in your community and your observations of some of the things that could be improved. In the second column, write down your ideas for how you might address those needs. For example, maybe in school you learn that monarch butterflies are in danger because of habitat loss, or you notice that many cars drive too quickly on the road by your school. After you make a list of some of those needs, take some time to brainstorm ideas, things that you could do to address those needs, like planting a butterfly garden or talking with city council members about installing a speed monitoring sign by the school. Once you've made some observations about community needs and started brainstorming possible ways to address those needs, it's time to start exploring each of your ideas and decide which community need or issue you and your team would like to focus on for your project. As you start exploring your community need, try to find out why the issue is happening and what's causing the need so that you can address one of those root causes of the problem with your project. For example, maybe you notice that there's a lot of litter in the park all the time and you want to do something to help that. If you just focus on the symptoms of the problem, maybe planning to pick up the litter you see, it'll definitely help, but only for a little while. The next week or the next month, there will be more litter in the park and the problem is still there. If instead you find out why there's so much litter in the park and make a plan to address what's causing the problem instead of just the problem itself, your project will have a much bigger and longer lasting impact. You might do some research and talk with experts in your community. Maybe you find out that the town does not currently provide garbage cans for people to use in the park, so people leave their litter on the ground. Now that you know this is contributing to or causing the problem, you might go to the town and see if it would be possible to install and maintain garbage cans and maybe a recycling bin as well to help the environment even more. Maybe, instead, you find out that since not many people use the park, it looks neglected and uncared for, so people are less likely to want to keep it clean. To address that issue, you might organize a community-wide cleanup and park beautification day to involve the community in becoming part of the change and raise awareness about the importance of outdoor public places, as well as the problems that littering can cause at the same time. Next, we have some of the key differences between a community service project and a Bronze Award project that are important to remember as you're deciding what you want to do. Both are important parts of Girl Scouting and both help others in the community, but your Bronze Award project goes beyond community service in a few different ways. The key difference is that when you do community service, you're helping with an immediate need. You're helping people right now. Maybe you collect food for the food pantry or do a clothing drive. You're helping people with something they need right now, but once the clothing's distributed and the food is used up, the need will still be there. For your Bronze Award project, think about ways that you can make a lasting difference that will keep helping people even after you've finished with your project. For example, you could work with a food pantry to create a community garden that can be used year after year to grow food, and maybe work to teach kids in the community about gardening at the same time. Next, anytime you're helping with a project that's already in place, like helping at a blood drive or volunteering, that project is community service. You want your Bronze Award project to be completely yours and your team's, with you and your team taking the lead in the planning and taking an active role in the decision making. As we already mentioned, a community service project often addresses a symptom of the problem, like picking up litter in the park. For your Bronze Award project, you want to think about what's causing the problem, some of those root causes, and look at why it's happening or continuing to happen, then address that why in your project. By focusing on why the issue or need is happening, you can make a bigger impact and create a longer lasting solution. As we talked about, collecting and donating items is community service, but if you add an event to raise awareness of the issue and educate others about what they can do to help, your project will be much more sustainable because you're empowering the community to become part of the change. You can also think about making and promoting a video or brochure to show others what they can do to help, or doing a presentation at your school or community center. Next, any kind of beautification or renovation is community service unless it has that educational piece to involve the community and raise awareness of the issue. So if you want to do something like a trail cleanup, see if you can add something to it that's completely your own, like making a brochure or an app that takes people through a fun nature scavenger hunt when they use the trail. For your Bronze Award, you also want to reach out to experts in the community to learn more about the issue, find out about some of those root causes, and help you plan and carry out your project. Reach out to local organizations and community experts, maybe go on a field trip. Maybe you have a neighbor that works in environmental conservation who could help you with your butterfly garden, or a troop leader knows someone who's a good gardener who could help with that. Maybe you learned about how plastic in the ocean is hurting fish and marine life, so you could visit an aquarium and then interview a staff member there about what people are doing to help and what you could do as well. When you reach out to others in the community and connect with experts, you start to build your network and get an even better understanding of the issue or problem you'd like to address so you can create a stronger Bronze Award project. Lastly, the Bronze Award asks you to think about how the issue you're addressing locally might affect people in other places as well, so you're thinking beyond your immediate community. To keep track of what you learned and organize your ideas, one option is to work together to make a chart that expands on the chart that had your observations and your project ideas that you created earlier when you were exploring the community to look for community needs. The need that you observe is still in the first column, and then in the next column, write down who you talked to learn more about it, whether it was an organization, a visit to the animal shelter or aquarium, or an interview with a community expert. Next, write down some notes about what you learned from talking with that person. Finally, take a look at your original ideas or add some new ones and see if you need to adjust them at all now that you've learned some more about the issue. Maybe you originally wanted to make no-sew blankets for the animals at the animal shelter, but when you visit the shelter and talk with some of the specialists there, you learn that when an animal has to have surgery, the veterinarian keeps them warm while they're recovering with a rice pillow that gets heated in the microwave, and that the shelter could really use more of those. So you might modify your original idea to include the rice pillows instead of the blankets. Also, take some time to think about the difference between community service and your Bronze Award project and see if you need to adjust or add to any of your ideas so that they meet the Bronze Award guidelines. Staying with the animal shelter example, maybe you realize that making and donating rice pillows is more of a community service project because it helps animals right now, but the pillows can only be used so many times before they wear out. Plus, you're planning to make all the pillows yourself, and it would be better to involve the community in becoming part of the change so that the project could continue. So, you might decide to work with a younger troop and teach them how to make the rice pillows and why they're important, or make a video about it or a list of ways that people can help the animals that the shelter could put on its website so that other people know what they could do to help too. Now I have an excellent list of pitfalls to avoid with your Bronze Award project. First, collection projects. You can have a collection and donation of items as part of your project, but you want to go beyond that and think about ways to make a longer lasting difference and involve others in becoming part of the change. Next, fundraising projects. Because as Girl Scouts, we're not allowed to raise money and donate that money to another organization. What you can do is raise money and use that money to purchase something that helps people that the organization serves. You can work with an organization to do that. And you are in fact encouraged to work with other organizations and community experts as you plan and carry out your project. You can also raise money and use that money to purchase materials to build or create something. It's just the direct donation of money that's not allowed. Finally, your Bronze Award project needs to involve others, so make sure that you connect with community experts and maybe make a plan to work with a younger troop, share what you did in your school newsletter, plan a celebration or presentation to involve others, or make a resource that will help to involve the community in some way and share what you did with other people. Once you have decided what you'd like to do for your Bronze Award project, the next step is to make a plan. Think about what your goals are for your project and what you want to accomplish. Try to set goals that can be measured. For example, if you want to work with a younger troop to make rice pillows for the animal shelter, you might set a goal to make a total of 100 pillows or to teach 20 other people how to make them. With measurable goals, you can see your project and at the end, your progress, and at the end, you can clearly see if you reached your goal or not. Keep in mind that you might not reach the goals you set for your project, and that's okay. You can still earn your Bronze Award because of all that you did do, even if you didn't quite reach your goals. You also might need to adjust your goals as you go along, and that's okay too. Try to challenge yourself just a little bit with the goals you set. For example, if you want to build a bat house for a local nature center, having the goal to build one bat house is not really a goal that will challenge you because that's what you plan to do anyway. Instead, think about some other goals that you could set, and they don't just have to be for your final project outcome. Maybe you set a goal to talk with 5 community experts to learn more about bats, or you plan a celebration once your bat house is finished and have a goal to invite 30 people. After you think about what you want to accomplish, think about each step or action item that you'll need to complete in order to finish your project. For the bat house, you might make a plan to do some research first, then reach out to the nature center to talk with them about your ideas. Next, you would need to find a design for your bat house and maybe reach out to someone who's good at building things to show you how to build it. You would also need to make a plan to get the wood and the nails you would need, plan a construction day, set up a time to install your bat house at the nature center, and plan your community celebration or ribbon cutting ceremony, which might involve getting the word out or sending invitations, as well as planning the ceremony script and what you'll say. And of course, plan some time at the end to complete your Bronze Award final report. A good way to plan your action items is to use sticky notes or index cards so that you can easily move each step around until you have an activity plan that you like in the best order. As you consider each step, think about your timeline as well and set some deadlines for when you'd like to complete each action item. Keep in mind that you have to complete your Bronze Award project while you're a junior, because once you become a cadet, you're no longer eligible to earn your Bronze Award. The deadline for your project to be completed and your final report to be submitted is August 30th of the summer after 5th grade. So 5th graders still have that summer to finish up their project and final report. You also want to think about the time of year that you do each step, because it might not be realistic to plan to build your community garden in January when the ground is frozen. Next, start keeping track of the time your group spends planning and working on your project. You don't have to keep track of every minute, but it can be helpful to have a general idea of the total time for your final report. The Bronze Award is a minimum of 20 hours per girl, but unlike for the Silver and Gold Awards, for Bronze, you don't need to keep track of your hours individually. You can make a chart or spreadsheet for the whole group to add to at each meeting. So if your group meets for an hour to plan, that's 1 hour you can put down on your chart. If your group decides to divide up some of the responsibilities and half go to purchase supplies for an hour while the other half start planning the ceremony, that's an hour that the whole group worked on their project, even though not everyone was doing the same things. At the Bronze Award level, as long as everyone is spending about the same amount of time working on the project and that time is about 20 hours or more, you're all set. If someone happens to miss a meeting, that's not a problem. As you make your plan, think about the talents and interests of each member of your team, and keep in mind that you can divide up responsibilities so that each team member is using her strengths, trying something new, and sharing her skills with the group. Don't forget to include your community experts and helpers in your plan, and take some time to make a list of supplies you'll need and how you'll get those supplies. We'll talk about your options for getting materials next. So you know what supplies you need and about how much each item will cost. What's next? You have a few options to get materials and supplies. First, you can always ask for donations of materials or services, meaning that you could go into the hardware store or the plant nursery and see if they'll donate the compost and the seeds or plants that you need for your community garden. Your neighbor who loves to garden could also donate some plants or items. You can ask either individuals or businesses. You can also ask for a service to be donated, like printing brochures or a professional volunteering their time. What you cannot do is ask for donations of money, because that's something that we're not allowed to do as Girl Scouts. So donations of materials or services is a yes. Asking for donations of money is a no. You do not need to get council approval to ask for donations of materials or services. But if you do get materials or services donated, there's a form called the In-Kind Donation Form that you can send or give to the donor, and they can fill it out if they'd like to be officially recognized for their donation. If they do choose to fill it out and send it in, they will get a letter from council thanking them for their donation of materials or services that they can then use for their taxes. Another option for you to get the supplies you need for your project is to use troop funds, including proceeds from the Sweets and Treats and cookie programs. Your troop doesn't have to use troop funds for Bronze Award projects if they would rather use them for something else, but they certainly can. Another option is to use your cookie dough, and that can be an especially good option if only a few girls in your troop want to earn their Bronze Award or if you have a multi-level troop. To use cookie dough for your Bronze Award project, there's a form you fill out to convert your cookie dough to troop proceeds so that it is in your troop account and can be used. If you've explored those options of getting materials donated and using your product sales proceeds, and you still need more money to cover your project expenses, you can apply for approval to do an additional money-earning project, such as a bake sale or craft sale. Since the Sweets and Treats and cookie programs are your first line of money earning, you have to have participated in both of those in the past year to be approved to do any additional money earning activities. And keep in mind that you need council approval for any additional money earning activities that you plan. There's a form called the money earning form that your troop will need to fill out and send in to get that approval. Finally, if there's a grant opportunity that fits well with your project, you can't apply directly for the same reason that you cannot ask for donations of money, but council can apply on your behalf and then give you the grant money to use for your project. To do that, you use that same money earning form. Now, let's talk about the money earning strategies that we're not allowed to do so that you can avoid those pitfalls. First, as we already mentioned, you cannot ask for donations of money. That means you can't set up collection jars and say, this is what I'm doing for my Bronze Award project, will you please donate? You cannot use any crowdsourcing platforms like GoFundMe, and you cannot ask an individual organization or business to donate money for your project. Next, you cannot be involved in or plan any games of chance, like having a raffle. You also cannot set up activities that benefit another organization, such as a restaurant percent night or a product demonstration. Finally, remember that if you'd like to apply for a grant, it has to be done through council. I hope that helps as you think about ways that you could get materials and supplies for your project and gives you an idea of what we can and cannot do. Now that you've made your plan, it's time to take action and complete your project. You know each step you need to take, you've set your deadlines so you stay on track with your project, and you've decided who will be responsible if you're dividing up the responsibilities among members of your team. Keep in mind that you might need to adjust your timeline or project plan as you go, and things might not go completely as planned. Being able to overcome obstacles and change your plans to meet new challenges is part of being a leader. So if things don't go exactly as planned, it's an opportunity for you and your team to practice being adaptable and show your leadership skills. Once you've completed your project, it's time to let others know what you've done and share your story. You never know who might be inspired to do something similar in their own community or use what they learned about the issue to make a difference. This is also a great time to celebrate your accomplishment and say thank you to everyone who helped you along the way. You can really be creative in how you share your story, and here are some ideas. You can make a video and show it to your friends, family, and community members. Maybe host a celebration and have a video screening there, or see if a community organization would put it up on their website. You could make a scrapbook of your project journey and show it to a younger troop or display it at the library. Let the local newspaper know what you did, or include something about your project in your school's newsletter. You could also make some social media posts for your adult and other community members to share, or plan a presentation, awareness event, or ribbon cutting ceremony for community members. Or you can make a brochure or a how-to guide and see if the library, community center, or organization that you worked with would help make it available to community members. Or you can come up with a completely different idea. It's up to you. Once you shared your story, it's time to complete your final report, say thank you to your team if you haven't already, and celebrate your accomplishment in a way that's most meaningful and special for you and your team. You'll complete your final report as a group, and there's a section where each team member has a chance to reflect and share their own thoughts. Once your group completes their final report, you can email it, mail it, or drop it off at any of the service centers. When I receive it, I'll make a council certificate for you, and you can purchase the Bronze Award pin at any of the service centers, although I suggest that you call to check with the store first so that they can order the number of pins you need if they're not already in stock. Here's my contact information, both my direct email and the Bronze Award email, which is a mailbox that I also check. You can find the final report along with additional resources and forms on the Girl Scouts of Northeastern New York Bronze Award webpage. Under our programs, then Bronze, Silver, Gold Awards, then click on the link to the Bronze Award webpage. Let me know if you have questions or would like to talk about your project ideas, and I can't wait to read about what you accomplish.